Foreplay fam, welcome to Moon Salutations, an evening yoga sequence. I suggest to do this sequence nightly for best results. We're going to begin at the top of our mat, feet fist width or hip width apart, and we are going to ground. Start by lifting your toes, feeling where your weight is, rocking side to side, front and back, until you feel that you are evenly distributed among your feet. We're going to take an inhale and exhale, swinging your arms behind us, bending the knees, lifting up and extending, giving a small back bend. We're going to swing back forward, clasping our hands behind our back for a deep forward fold and shoulder stretch. Please clasp your hands together if you're looking for a deeper stretch. We're going to swing back up while we step our left foot back. We want to make sure that our weight is distributed evenly between the front and the back, and we're lifting high and sinking into the hips. Roll your hands down. Step your foot back to your first downward dog position. Don't splay your arms out like so. We want to tuck our elbows in. And from here, you can lift onto your toes and lower your heels back towards the mat. Lift and lower. We're going to round through our entire back, coming forward through a plank to an upward dog. Being sure to relax our cheeks here. We're going to tuck our toes under, bending our knees, pushing back to that downward dog. We're going to lift our right leg behind us, keeping our hips parallel. We're going to step that right foot through in between our hands and lifting for a lunge. Step forward again, immediately forward folding with your hands clasped behind your back. And we're going to swing back up, giving a back bend as much as we can. And swing right back forward, grasping our hands behind our back. Remember to close your fists by bringing your palms together. This time we're going to come up, stepping our right foot back to a lunge. Roll those wrists down. Stepping back to a downward dog position. Lift into those toes, lowering those heels. Lift and lower and round into the back, into an upward dog position. We're going to tuck those toes under, pushing back, bending the knees, straightening them for a downward dog. And feel free to walk your dog here, swaying your hips from side to side. Bending the knees gently, taking your time. And pushing back and out of those shoulders. We're going to lift the left leg this time, trying to keep those hips square. And step it through in between our hands for a lunge. I'm going to push off with the back foot, stepping forward into that forward fold. Hands clasped behind the back. Remember to close the fist. And we're going to swing it up into a back bend. Swing it down, immediately back into that forward fold. Clasp the hands. Swing it up, bending the knees, stepping the left foot back again. Reaching in all directions. Rolling the wrists down. We're going to step back for another downward dog. These do get easier with time. Lift your heels and lower them. Lifting the heels and lowering. You're going to push forward, rounding through the entire back, lowering gently, untucking the toes, lifting the head. And you can always take it a step further and send that head back as well. We're going to tuck our toes and push back into another downward dog position. From here, we're going to lift the right leg, keeping the hip square, but this time we're going to open up the hip at the top. We're going to bring it back through our hands, lifting to a high lunge. We're going to step our foot forward into a forward fold. We're going to sweep up into another back bend, pushing those hips forward and immediately swing back down. You guys are getting the rhythm. Let's clasp those hands. We're going to sweep back, bringing the right leg back into a lunge. Roll those wrists down. Step back to downward dog. Really pushing into that floor, pushing away. Lift onto your toes and lower. Lift and lower. Round the entire back forward into an upward dog. We're going to tuck those toes under, pushing back to a downward dog position. From here, we're going to lift our left leg behind us, keeping those hips square. And we're going to open up the hip to the side. Then we're going to bend that knee, bringing it through to a lunge. Lifting the hands high, sinking the hips low. And we're going to step forward, going into our clasped forward fold. We're going to scoop up, extending back. Each time should take you a little further. We're going forward again, forward fold. And stepping the left foot back. Reaching high, hips low. We're going to roll those wrists down, stepping back to a downward dog. Pushing the floor away from you, we're going to lift into the toes. Lower the heels, lift into the toes. And let's walk our dog here, swaying the hips side to side. Really milking this position. You can have fun with it and experiment with your movement. We're going to round our backs forward. Yes, lowering down. I'm going to press into the tops of my feet this time, pushing back into that downward dog, rolling over the toes. Sending the right leg back. Hip square, then we're going to open up to the side and bend that right leg while keeping the shoulders square. Send it through, tucking your leg underneath you for a pigeon pose. Adjust accordingly, but the key here is to keep those hips square. So I'm going to bring my right hand around to my thigh and top it with my left, keeping my chest high. Keeping that balance and hip square. Breathing, of course. We're going to release that and fold forward over the leg, resting our heads. Breathe deeply here, opening up the hips. to come up. We're going to do some leg lifts, leg pumps if you will, for 10. Just lifting that back leg. You might find that you need something soft under your knee, so if you need to pause this video for that part, do so. Just pumping. You should feel your glute with each pump. So the goal in pigeon, eventually we want that front leg to be a right angle, so try to move that foot up as much as you can. We're gonna press into the ground. We're gonna tuck that back toe under, lifting to free our bottom leg, send that back up, adjusting where you might need to, and sending that right leg through, lifting high into a lunge. Step forward into your clasped forward fold. We're gonna release, scooping up and back, pushing those hips forward for a back bend. Scooping down again, hands clasped behind the back for a forward fold. Stepping back with your right for a low lunge, shaking those hips. Roll those wrists down. Step back into a downward dog. Up on those toes, lowering. Up on the toes and lowering. Let's round through the back, forward. Try not to clench your butt cheeks. We're going to press into the tops of our feet, pushing back into a downward dog, rolling over the toes. We're going to lift our left leg, opening the hip, bending it, still keeping those shoulders square. Weight evenly distributed through the hands. We're going to step it through, folding that leg underneath for a pigeon pose on the other side. Remember to keep your hips square here, adjusting where need be. Breathing. You're going to reach back with your left hand onto that right thigh, keeping that chest up and hips centered. Release. Folding forward over the leg, resting your head down. Breathe here. We're coming back up, going for the leg pulses on the other side. Going for 10. Remember to put something under your knee if you need to. Pressing our hands into the ground and tucking that back foot. We're lifting. Leg goes behind us, back into that downward dog. And we're going to step through with our left leg, coming back to a lunge position. Stepping forward, sweeping the hands behind you. Clasping those hands. And we're going to scoop up. Back bend. And this time, instead of folding forward again, we're going to bring our hands through prayer position, down the chest, exhaling down. Yes. Let's move on to our balance pose for the night. We're going to go for dancer pose. So to achieve a successful dancer pose, we're going to shift our weight to our left foot. We're going to grip our right foot from the inside, reaching back. We lift our left hand, tilt forward, lifting the back leg, finding that balance and stability, and come out of it when you need to, if you need to. Returning your weight to both feet. We're going to switch sides, grabbing the foot from the inside. Right hand up, we lean forward first, lean as much as we can, before we start to lift the back leg. Clearly, you see me struggling with this side, but that's okay. We'll only get better. Come back, hands to the center. And we're going to start winding down. We're going to squat low here. Try to hold it as long as you can. This is not my strength, so we're going to roll onto our backs, tucking the knees to the chest. Take a moment to pause and relax. Reflect on how your body might feel in this moment. Hugging them in. We're going to drop the left leg. Folding over to the left, keeping that right shoulder down. Coming back to center. Extend the leg up. Fold back over with a straight leg. Remember to keep both shoulders down. Want to extend the leg back up, bringing it back in, bringing both knees to your chest, hugging them in. This time we're going to drop the right leg, holding on to our left knee. Extend the left arm. We're going to fold over to the right, keeping both shoulders on the ground, relaxing into this position. Getting a good full side body stretch. Bring it back to center. Extend the leg up. Fold back over with a straight leg. Intensifying this side stretch. Bring the leg back up. Hug the knee into your chest. Hugging both. We're going to reach for the outsides of our feet for a happy baby, or you can hold your big toes with 2 fingers. So the key to happy baby is making sure that your tailbone is on the ground as well, while you try to bring your knees back towards the floor. And you can rock your baby side to side, relaxing into the position, massaging your back on the floor. Go for an extension, extending those legs straight, bending them again, and releasing. We're going to drop our feet to the ground and let our legs open up, feet touching, laying down in butterfly position. We're going to relax here, breathing into those hips, preparing to wind down, preparing for rest. How does your body feel? Really surrender to this pose. And when you're ready, you can extend your legs, relaxing into your Shavasana pose. I want you to reflect on this practice, reflect on your day. I want you to feel how your body feels now that you've gone through those movements. Let your body sink into the floor, your hands, your legs, your back. Relax everything, melt into the floor. See if anything feels warmer. Do things feel looser? Did you open up anything? Were you able to let go of the stress of the day? Take as much time as you need here. These are evening salutations, so just make sure you don't fall asleep in the floor. Take this moment for yourself. You deserve it. Whenever you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll out your wrists. Send your hands overhead. Take a big stretch. Bend your knees in. We're going to roll over to the right, keeping your heart open and on top. Just taking a moment to cradle yourself, feel safe and protected. And when you're ready, sit up into a seated position and congratulate yourself for committing to these moon salutations. Thank you so much for joining me.